President Biden's visit to Israel started pretty normally. There was a gaffe, and then there was handshakes all around. That wouldn't be a story unless the White House already started the trip by talking about the fact that he wasn't going to shake hands with anybody. We're serious. President Biden's big foreign policy move revolves around visiting Saudi Arabia, but not shaking hands. Remember, during the campaign, he said he would turn Saudi into a pariah state for their human rights abuses. The de facto leader of Saudi Arabia is Mohammed bin Salman, a.k.a. MBS, a repressive dictator known for ordering the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi and torturing members of his own family. Long list of MBS's, well, shall we say, less than savory activities goes on. So the White House says Mr. Biden will go to Saudi Arabia, but he will keep his 6-foot distance because of COVID, so you don't have that picture of the president and MBS shaking hands. Of course, every minute of a presidential visit is scripted. So who's going to stand where, who gets to shake hands, who doesn't. It's all organized by the presidential advance team. So now we have the no handshake visit if President Biden holds to that. As the New York Times describes it, Biden adopts no handshake COVID policy, but not for long, referring to his fist bumps and then numerous handshakes on the ground in Tel Aviv, which got us thinking if MBS and Biden did shake hands, would it be like the Trump and Macron marathon handshake that went on? Certainly during the no handshake COVID policy, President Biden and MBS couldn't have a Trump-esque orb photo there. The no handshake thing goes back a while, like when former President Bill Clinton visited Kim Jong-il. Kim didn't get a handshake, but a photo. And in return, Clinton got 2 American prisoners. Remember, Mr. Biden promised to turn Saudi Arabia into a pariah regime, but he arrives tomorrow to ask for oil. So maybe we're underthinking this, and the White House has this figured out. The handshake is a bargaining chip to be deployed in Saudi at just the right moment, perhaps in exchange for something, in exchange for oil or something else the Biden administration wants. The one thing the Biden administration never talks about publicly, because this would really irritate the Saudis, is their connection to the 9/11 hijackers. Remember, 15 of the 19 hijackers came from the kingdom, and there are still serious questions about possible help by the Saudi government. Terry Strada heads the 9/11 Families United group. Also, her husband died in the attacks. Have we sort of found President Biden's price now?
Oh, I certainly hope not. You know, we are still very hopeful that the president is going to address Mohammed bin Salman very sternly about the September 11th attacks and the role that his country played in not only financing and giving the logistical support for this support network that was put in place, but for all of the support that his state-funded charities, billionaire elites, and Saudi's banks, you know, they all gave the massive support for the rise of Al-Qaeda. So there's a lot to talk about with this leader.
Right, but we can all hope things are going to happen. It doesn't seem as though you are too actually hopeful.
Well, you know, until he comes back or until we get a signal from the White House that it won't be discussed, I'm going to believe it will be, because we have been hounding the president to bring this up.
Well, you've been hounding him, but in fairness, he's also promised specifically to declassify those pages in the 9/11 Commission report that talk about possible Saudi involvement that have been kept classified, and he has yet to unclassify them.
Oh, we have seen thousands of pages recently declassified because of the president's executive order that he signed last September. So now there is so much evidence. It's overwhelming the role that the kingdom played. That's why this president has the obligation now to address it one-on-one with the Crown Prince, or the National Security Council certainly should bring this up with the members at their meeting in Mohammed bin Salman's administration. If they dare sweep this under the rug, they will have to come back and answer to the 9/11 families. What did you just trade, you know, for the murder of 3,000 people on American soil? So I'm still, like I said, not just hopeful, but I'm anticipating a very frank discussion, an honest discussion, because the evidence is there and it needs to be dealt with.
You think, though, about Mr. Biden's foreign policy team, Ron Klain, Chief of Staff, Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, obviously got Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor, and then the Secretary of Defense. None of them have shown any backbone in standing up to the Saudis. Not that they've done much better than, or worse for that matter, than any other American administration over the past few years. What is it about Saudi Arabia that seems to have every American president, regardless of party, wrapped around their finger and tongue-tied at the questions you want answered?
That's a very good question. You know, they cower to the Saudis. Every administration has up until now. I'm hoping that this administration will be different. There is no reason to cower. We should still always show the strongest hand with the Saudis. We are the leader in this relationship. We need to maintain that. We've been the leader in the past. We need to maintain it now. And the way to do that is to have an honest accounting of what the kingdom did to facilitate the terrorist attacks in our country. And what could be more important than the murder of 3,000 people on, September 11th?
You're not going to like the answer, but they'll never say it publicly, but oil prices?
No, I'm sorry. National security should always be our number one concern. And until we have a full accounting of September 11th with the kingdom, and until they take accountability and take responsibility for it, we have no reason to believe that the network that they set up to facilitate the attacks and for the money to flow down to these terrorist organizations, we have no reason to believe that's ever been dismantled. So I believe national security, you've got to be safe first before you can fill your cars up with gas, before you can go to the store and do anything else. National security.
You make a great point, and we'll see if the handshake takes place or not. It'll be fascinating because it didn't last long on the tarmac in Tel Aviv. Terry, good to see you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Leland.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.